My name is Laura Solano, and I serve as the Mayor's Chief of Staff. So welcome to our fifth Your Idea, Your Neighborhood Town Hall. We are small but mighty today, and we're also being recorded. It's not Facebook Live, but it will be available on the city's website for those that weren't able to attend any of the previous sessions or not able to be here this afternoon. And we have one more in live town hall to, I think, showcase the Your Idea, Your Neighborhood. So thank you very much for coming this afternoon, and we're sorry that the mayor had a conflict of time. So Your Idea in Your Neighborhood was born from the following. The city team had an opportunity to participate nationally at Harvard University with other cities that were international on leading civic engagement. And the leading civic engagement team of, let me introduce you to the team. Captain Dustin Taylor from the police department, our finance director, Alex Romero, our recreation coordinator, Tamara Moore, and our director of public affairs is Haley Robinson, and coordinating on behalf of the committees to come is Yaritza Nunez, and she is our Harvard Fellow for the city. So we came back from our communication, learning about what other cities had participated in leading civic engagement, and we really identified with an opportunity to participate in community participative budgeting. And so I know that will be welcoming to some of you, that really the community participates in some of the city's budgeting and direction of where those resources go. So the team created then an idea of Your Idea, Your Neighborhood. We developed an opportunity for a budget of what could be impactful to different communities, and we shared it with the mayor, who supported it. We went to city council and they supported it, and they said move forward. However, we have more to share. So I'm going to sit down and turn the mic over, and the team will take over at different parts. So again, thank you for attending, and I think up next is Captain Taylor.
Thank you, Laura. Well, welcome everyone. Very good. So she already gave us a little bit of introduction onto what this program is all about and what we're looking to do. But it's basically creating ownership within the community between community members and the city government, and how do we spend our funds. So we wanted to really look at this as a pilot program into more robust participatory government, government, and as well as just having people involved. So we came up with the idea, we wanted to invest $1 million within the community. Hopefully we can get this passed, all based on the budget passing here within the next couple of weeks. We want to engage residents across all neighborhoods, not just in one certain part of the town, but everywhere. We want it to be equitable for everyone to be able to have an idea that maybe will benefit maybe their neighborhood, maybe the greater area of Pueblo. We also want to look at giving equitable access to resources. So we thought about, what do we think of success? How is this going to be successful for us? The biggest thing is we want to look at how many people are participating in this, how many groups are coming together or giving us ideas to help, all over the city of Pueblo. What number of neighborhoods are being affected and benefit from this? What demographics are being affected, because we know sometimes there's not always equal opportunity for everybody across everywhere, and so we want to make sure that it's equitable for everyone. We want to see success for us is a great number of projects that helps benefit lots of parts of the community. But also, we want to see that this entire $1 million is spent within the community and over the next couple of years, and lead to more programs like this in the future. So to kind of go on to the next step, I'm going to turn it over to Alex, who has kind of our financials and kind of what the next steps in the program are going to be.
Thank you. And yes, so as we mentioned, this is part of the 2024 proposed budget, and we are looking to hopefully have that passed. If it is included in the budget, that'll be in November, at the end of November, the 27th. So we won't know until that point if it is a go or not, but we're very hopeful. It is in the proposed budget that was presented last night. But then I'll go through our other timeline events that are particular to this program. Excuse me, I choked a little there. We are having 6 town halls, and this is the 5th out of 6. And so we have one more on Friday, but we've been across the community. We wanted to go into the different neighborhoods to reach out to individuals so that everybody was aware of the program. Then beginning in November, excuse me, we are going to have an application available for the review committee. And so the review committee is going to be those individuals that will be looking at all the submissions and deciding which ones are going to be funded. The committee is going to consist of 9 individuals, and that is 2 from each district plus 1 at large. One thing about the review committee is that if you are on it, we are asking you to not also submit an idea. So if you have an idea, you wouldn't want to be on the review committee. But if you want to be part of the review committee, that application will be in November and it will be on our website. Then the application for Your Idea, Your Neighborhood will be available from December through January 31st. So 2 whole months there. And that's to provide you enough time to be able to really formulate your idea and also speak to city departments. And Tamara will mention this a little bit more in depth in her presentation, but it'll give you time to make sure that your application is full and ready to be presented to that review committee, which then the review committee will be looking at all the applications in the month of February into the beginning part of March. And then at the end of March is when we're going to be reaching out to everyone that had submitted an idea and let them know if it was either chosen or not chosen. And if your project wasn't picked, we'll also offer you some information about maybe why not. It might be because it's something that we're unable to do because it's connected with another organization, or there's some more pieces that we're looking for, and you might be able to resubmit it if this program continues into the future. Let's see if I have any other things I'm missing here. The projects then will begin in April, and then depending on the complexity, they will be completed throughout the year. And I had one more idea and it slipped my mind, so I guess that's it unless I can think of it. Here's Tamara with some more information. Or yeah, absolutely, yes. So it is the QR code. You can use the QR code and then, sure. So it is www, isn't it? Pueblo.us/your idea. Your neighborhood. Your idea, your neighborhood.
Your idea, your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's either or. It's either submit something or submit an application.
Correct. Yes. And then so if you take a picture of this, if you put your camera on, it'll pop up the website for this QR code. So if you would like, we can absolutely help you with that as well. And here you go, Tamara.
All right, and I'm just going to highlight a few things before we wrap up and then take questions and ideas. Just highlighting that this is all citizen-led, so from the ideas that you submit to the committee, the review committee will be made up of citizens, so we're super excited about that. The rubric that they'll use to evaluate projects, I just wanted to go through the categories that will be there. Eligibility, complexity, how it benefits the community, the equity piece that Dustin talked about, the cost, evidence of sustainability, meaning if you have something that's a one and done project or if it, will need maintenance or upkeep year after year. And then due diligence with city departments. So this is something that Alex mentioned, but we have designated a person in each department to kind of be the point of contact, and we'll direct you to those people as you contact us to help you kind of figure out whether it's the financial piece or the sustainability piece. I don't want to put many ideas in your head, but if it's a park bench, how much would a park bench cost and how much is concrete per yard? Maybe something that gets directed towards the parks department, we reach out to you and help you figure those things out. So again, don't want to put ideas in your head because we want to hear your ideas, but we do have designated people within the city that will be able to kind of help you figure out a project. We realize some things may be out of the scope of your knowledge and expertise, and that's what we're here for. We want to be able to support you in submitting those ideas and giving those ideas to us. And with that,
So I remembered what my piece was, and it's a financial piece. So one thing that I did want to mention is that when you submit an idea, we aren't going to be awarding these dollars to individuals. They will be within the city. So if it was something with parks, if it was that park bench that Tamara was talking about, we would be putting that money towards parks, and they would be completing the project. Depending on what that project is, though, you might participate. So if you wanted to go out and help them do the park bench or whatever. But I wanted to make that clear that we aren't going to be giving the money to individuals or organizations. It will all be within the city, and it'll be just by department who will be actually doing that project. Now I'll turn it over to Haley.
Okay, so I handed these out to everybody and we answered a couple of questions, but you'll see on this handout, there is a QR code at the bottom. There's also an email at the bottom. It's youridea@pueblo.us, and this is where you can get more information. So the application for the review committee will be at this link if you open the QR code. And then the application for the actual project submissions will be at the QR code as well. And then if you can't navigate to the website, but you have a question, you can visit youridea@pueblo.us and send an email. And so that kind of goes into what Tamara was talking about with us connecting you with a particular department. We don't expect you to necessarily know which department that is. And also it could potentially involve multiple departments, and that's not for you to necessarily say, hey, I know I need to talk to planning and community development. I know I need to talk to the police department. I know I need to talk to parks and recreation. If you were to ask me, hey, how much does concrete cost? I have absolutely no idea, but there is somebody who works within the city that can get you that answer, and that's who we would connect you with. So that's part of the process, is us helping you connect to the right resources. So I do want to open this opportunity up to questions. I am going to pass the mic, so if you would just raise your hand and I'll walk over to you so that we can capture your questions as part of our video recording, because this is, as Laura mentioned, this is for folks who are not able to attend in person. And so you might be asking a question that a lot of people have, and then we'll be able to have other folks get the same answer. So at this time, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help field those. Ted.
Yeah, actually, I've got lots of questions, but I mean, okay. All right. First of all, who came up with this idea? This one here.
You're looking at us, the five of us. So Dustin, Tamara, Laura, Alex, and myself. We heard about this from a couple of other groups. There was an organization out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They have a program called Love Your Block, which is pretty similar. They focus primarily on neighborhood cleanup events. And then we heard from another group in Riga, Latvia, and they did participatory budgeting with their city, and their citizens came up with things like a park bench. They even put on a festival. So essentially what we see a lot of times in downtown Pueblo that's primarily hosted on Union Avenue, they wanted to bring something out into another area of town that doesn't normally see a lot of foot traffic. So maybe it would be like here on the west side or somewhere on the south side that doesn't normally host big events. So those were a couple ideas, but that's where we heard it from, and then we came up with your idea, your neighborhood is a catchy slogan.
Well, I'm sure that almost everybody's heard about the fact that I'm trying to get this 1/2 cent sales and use tax fund repurposed. Right now we have $50 million in that fund. And I've come up with lots and lots of different ideas of how that could be, but I'm having the neighborhoods, get involved with recommending the kinds of projects they want to see. As an example, community centers with daycare centers. In the parks recreation, we have parks built, land that has no parks on it. And you talk to the Parks and Rec guys, and they said, hey, we need $2 or $3 million to do that. So there's lots and lots of big projects that can go in the different neighborhoods. And I don't see where this program is going to fly very far because, you know, $1 million these days don't fly very far. But we need to change it because the half-cent sales tax is a fund that's very restrictive, and it was designed strictly to bring in companies, you know, to bring in new jobs. Well, that was when it first started. That was great. And it worked. But today, that's not the problem. We've right now got more job opportunities than we have people looking for those jobs. So we got this fund, in my estimation, that needs to be looked at in a completely different way for the benefit of all the people in Pueblo, not just one area or so forth, okay, of how to increase the well-being and quality of life for everybody and beautify the city and make sure that, you know, that companies will look at Pueblo in a completely different way, okay? And that's the issue, is I think we've got to stop paying these people, because if you look at PEDCO's website, they say, hey, we got money for this, and we got money for this, and we got money for this, and you know, and they want to spend all our money. They want to spend all our money.
Those are great ideas, but that's not exactly what we're here for. And that's what this is all about. This idea is all about what we've come up with, and those are outstanding ideas, and this is not the forum for that. And I appreciate your questions and your insight into this, but we have to continue on with other questions for this.
Well, the whole issue is the fact that I came up with the idea that you guys were working on.
Okay.
Back in 2017.
Sure.
If you look at some of the papers I've got,
Mhm.
we talk about, you know, getting neighborhoods involved
Mhm.
and recommending
Right.
content projects they want to see in their neighborhoods.
Well, this would be something you should support then, because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to start here, start small, and hopefully we can get this to be successful, and City Council will go in the future and hopefully be able to make this a larger project.
Well, I say, you know, we got $20 million,
Mhm.
$50 million right now in the house.
Mhm.
And that brings in about $11 million
Right.
a year. So
Mhm.
we talk about sustainability.
Right.
You know, so you talk about bricks and mortar,
Mhm.
doing these things, but you also have the money to keep operating going.
Right.
And that's one of the things I see as the issue
Mhm.
with this particular program.
Right.
Sustainability, when you do a project.
Mhm. And those are great ideas, and that's what we're looking for, those ideas, which we'll take to council. Mhm. Yeah, but that's going to be up to City Council. Mhm. And that's going to happen in the future. Hopefully this will be a successful program and we can expand it and bring in some of the ideas that you're telling us about. So this is kind of our stepping stone into hopefully doing a better job of communicating with the community and helping make things better for Puebloans. I mean, that's all our goal is. That's what we want. We want the same thing you do. We want to make Pueblo a better place. That's our ideas. And so I think I have another question right over here. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know if you have the staff within all of within the different city departments to do these kinds of things, because I know there are staffing issues in some departments, and that's normal. But is that something you all have addressed?
We do. They're going to be rolled into other projects that are already happening, and that's what they're going to look at when we talk to the individuals from each department that understand what's going on. Maybe that project's already slated to be happening, and it's something that's going to happen over the next year to 2 years. But also, they would roll it into the projects already for that year, and that's kind of what we've got our other city leaders on board with this, and they're committed to hopefully helping this project move forward. Yep.
It also may be something that is a service that we don't necessarily do, but we would contract out. You know, I mean, there's certain things that are daily that happen, you know, replacing a window. That's not something that our guys do, but we'd contract it out, so it may fall in that category as well. We have murals that are painted. We obviously are not the artists. We would contract that out to a local artist, those sorts of things.
Landscaping, things that make our community look better
Yeah.
and more appealing to,
Beautification.
yeah, beautification.
Mm-hmm.
See the, this isn't
Sorry.
opinions. It isn't. But I'm just a newbie here in the last 4 years, and when we drive in from Denver, anybody coming south, you see all of that industrial things out there, the different businesses, and that may not be something within your scope of neighborhood changing, but I think those kinds of things are important too, not just within neighborhoods, but that's not in your scope of.
Great ideas, though, yes.
When they get money, federal money or something for beautification, they do things like the bump outs on Santa Fe, which are horrible. I mean, those are things that they have to use the money for, and they do them, and it's not really a good idea. But I'm here because I want to ask if I'm even in the right place. I mean, you don't have to stand there and hold it. My business is tourism, and it's Katie's too. And tourism is a whole city thing. It's not just one neighborhood. And I can't get the city council to understand it. I've tried. Sometimes the city people don't understand it. I'm a historic preservation commissioner, and in the last few weeks we've been thrown under the bus by the city, and so I'm not real happy about that because I've given 8 years of my life to that. But as a tourism thing, which would involve the entire city, to have, how about some signs on the highway that say what we offer? People get off to go to Carl's Jr. or Wendy's, and they get back on. And it's my understanding, Bill Zwick told me one time that 85 million people go up and down I-25 every year, and how many get off and know what we have? So we need to market better. That's one thing, but that's not just a neighborhood, so I'm not sure if I'm sitting here in the right spot. I'm also the head of the Goodnight Barn. It's in the county, but it's owned by the city. Okay, I mean, you know that. Steve Meyer, we work with him all the time. I need bathrooms out there. I need vault toilets. Is that something that would work for you guys since it's a city property? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to submit something that's not going to be even considered, but I can tell you that that would boost tourism by a lot. Sure.
I'm not going to cut you off because I'll let you continue. But so one of the things that we're looking for in the application is what you're alluding to is impact. So when it comes to tourism, so you might be the sole person, we'll just pretend like you're the sole person that runs the Goodnight Barn, which we know there's a team and there's a lot of people that do it. But rather than saying, this will just impact me, the things that we want to see is how many folks this could potentially attract, potential outcome of tourism dollars that it would bring in, and maybe different groups of folks. So is it programming with the school districts? Is it attracting folks from the Colorado area or beyond? And that's where the impact piece comes in. And so then the other piece that you were asking about is feasibility. So we can't necessarily answer that question, the five of us, but that's how we'll, correct. So that's how we'll connect you with folks within the department so that we can assist you moving forward with the proposal. So is it, a $20,000 project, or is it a $120,000 project? We don't know, right? And maybe you do have an idea, but that would all be part of the process of feasibility and then impact. Those are two categories that are within the matrix that our review committee will use to score these things. So it sounds like you have a great idea, so you wouldn't want to be on the review committee, but you might want to garner some support of folks who will help you tell the story of the impact.
I won't take much more time, but I can tell you that having something like that out there, and I'm not trying to just say this is what we need to do, it would raise tourism, and it would raise the sales tax, and it would raise the people staying overnight in motels. And I have people say, well, what do you need tourism for? And I said, you know what, or what are you trying to do with tourism? And I say, look at all the motels that are being built. There's something going on in Pueblo, okay? And so I just want to make sure that I'm barking up the right tree with this, because when we had our last rendezvous in May, we had 500 people there, and they weren't all from Pueblo. So they stayed the night. That's what I'm saying, is Pueblo's missing the dollars on tourism. And what we need to do is take it away from the chamber and have a tourism bureau. So there you go.
In my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion.
I
And
am
Katie is with,
I'm with the Pueblo Heritage Museum on the board there, and we definitely need to get a lot of more marketing done there, and we get confused with the El Pueblo Museum all the time, so we're working to try to change those things. That's why I'm here.
so in the whole, looking at all, tourism would be a help for everybody, and it's mostly marketing. So, thank you.
The other thing that you mentioned earlier, and I just wanted to touch on, is, there could potentially be an idea that somebody submits that we're not able to do. We don't know what that idea is yet, which is also why Tamara mentioned earlier, we're not trying to lead you into potential ideas because we want this to be yours. However, this will give us as the city an idea of what folks are seeking. So then this also allows us to apply for future grants, figure out new partnerships, and also just hear what is lacking or what is most needed in the community. So the point of this is not for us to say yes or no. It really is a feedback opportunity. And even to Ted's point earlier, as far as maybe something is really expensive, like if someone were to propose a community center, we know that $1 million is not enough for that. However, we don't want anyone to not submit those types of ideas because they think the price point is totally out of the question. That way we can at least know what folks are thinking. And as it was mentioned, as far as feasibility going forward, what we're hoping for is, this is a pilot program, and if we can prove with the data that Dustin mentioned of how many applications, how many folks are interested, how many neighborhoods are impacted, this gives us the opportunity to then move forward and ask for potentially more money in the future from mayor and city council. So those are the things that we really want folks to realize, that we're not trying to put a lot of limits or boundaries on this, because we want to know what you all are seeking for Pueblo. Do you have an?
Have you designated the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. So it could be the downtown district. It could be Pueblo Heritage Museum to put in a request. Okay. Could be,
And
obvious.
my idea actually brings money in for everybody, is what I'm saying. So.
Yeah. This is just for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And just with that, I mean, again, this is citizen-driven, so the community members that are on the review board are from each district around the city again, and then one at large, so they're the ones that get to make that decision and get to look at those. So it's not us making those decisions, it's people of the community making that decision as well. I'm going to get her right behind you real quick, and then we'll get back to you, okay?
My question is, if your idea is submitted and accepted, what involvement would that individual or individuals have with the committee, if any?
It could depend. So let's just say that it's a park bench, because that's a pretty easy thing. So you want a park bench in your neighborhood park. Maybe you would have a very specific bench that you have in mind. Maybe it's a specific color, or it's made out of a specific material, and you can put all of that in your proposal. And then we don't need you for the installation piece of it. But we would let you know that you've been awarded, that your idea has been awarded, and then we'd move forward with the process. Maybe there's a plaque or something that we need additional information, so that's how we would involve you. But otherwise, it could essentially just be a plug and play type of submission. Another idea that I'm not leading you here because this is something we're actually doing within the city, but we have an individual who Tamara mentioned earlier is doing murals. So that's something that we've contracted Parks and Recreation to do. And so we followed up individually with that artist for that contract, and he's going to work with youth in the community to make that happen. The piece that the city takes care of is all of the materials, so the paint and all the locations and making sure that everything's clean and prepped for that. And then we're following up with that individual for that specific project. So it could be something that's very inclusive because you yourself are an artist and need to carry out that work, or you're doing a project with youth and it's community involved and community led, or it could be something simple like a park bench. And now we're just really happy that that happened. Okay.
I think one of the things that we need to talk about is the impact of any project that comes up. And one of the things, as I say, I was talking about is community centers, with daycare centers. That's a major problem in this town, a major problem. But also the fact, of having recreation for young people. Hey, get them off the streets. I mean, right now, you have all these problems with gangs and things of that nature. I mean, something like that would have an absolutely strong impact on the city. And I visualized not only the one community recreation center, but because of the amount of money that I'm talking about, of having recreation centers in a couple of parts of the city and having a really major impact on everything. Beautification, and things of that nature, which, hey, people come this, we're talking about, tourism. People hear about, Pueblo and, our crime rates and stuff like that, and it's not the most beautiful city in the town. We need to change that impression. And I think, the kind of projects that we all need to talk about, and especially what I'm talking about, I think, is because of the size of the projects, we need to have those projects to have the kind of impact that we need.
We completely agree, and we had a town hall last week with some youth, and there was a gal there that shared something pretty cool from, I think it was Arizona, and she asked the question similar to what was asked earlier, is have the neighborhoods been identified, or how large of an area are we talking about? And her idea was something about shade trees, and I think it was in Phoenix, Arizona. And so it could be something, when we talk about feasibility, maybe we start with one square neighborhood block, but it expands into a larger area because of the impact. And so I think that's one thing as far as you're preparing your submission, what does it look like? Do we need irrigation across the city? Are there multiple neighborhoods? How many folks would this attract, and how many people would this help? Those are all things that we're looking at, so we completely agree. How has participation been? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go much further, I just want to hear from all of you. So we thought we had a good idea about your idea, your neighborhood, and I'd like to hear from you. Is so far a good idea or not so good idea? A very good idea, there's one. A great idea, and a head nod is a yes. And so I was just sitting counting because I wanted to, before we close tonight, to come back and tell you, although there's 5 or 6 of us here tonight, I think we're up to about 80 to 100 who have participated. One of the first evenings was 28 or 29, and then we had 10 or 11. We had 19 youth. We had an online version that we thought would draw more, and it really only drew 2 or 3, but they got to individually speak about their project. So I'm pretty excited about what the projects they've already just just even suggested that the committee might be receiving applications for. So with that, that might answer your questions about so far. We have heard a bit of a concern about, is the process not quite vetted? And that might be true because it's brand new and it is a pilot. We would like it not to be one and done, so to be successful and continue. We have heard about the scope and the magnitude of the resources, so we're going to try to start small. And what is small in one neighborhood and impactful may not be the same as what is in another neighborhood that would be as impactful. So, you know, a bench might be the right thing for seniors on a walk around a particular neighborhood that, you know, that they really would like to have that bench access. Youth, they were incredible ideas the last week or so. So that's just just sort of a response to where we are to date. And I'm hoping that Alex works some magic with the budget and presents it so that City Council can approve and include the $1 million for this pilot project. They're coming out of general fund. They're coming out of the capital improvement project, which will be presented by the mayor and our finance director at City Council meeting work session next Monday evening. Alex probably can tell you the amount that's out of the general fund for the 2024 budget to date, which includes this $1 million. And can I ask a question about, do you have any questions? Interest to be here on a committee? Do you have an idea that you're just kind of just getting rolling? Oh gosh, we don't want to make her talk. Okay, so that I totally understand. You know, but oh, there we go. One more.
I think to that point, we also, so we handed these flyers out. I would just encourage, we had quite a few folks who attended and then said, oh, hey, I'm part of a homeowners association, or I'm part of a youth group, or I'm part of a church organization, or there's just a group of us that have gotten together and we have some ideas. So I would make an ask that maybe you take a couple of these, and maybe you know someone who has brought a complaint forward of like, hey, I want to do this to change the thing. And I'm, again, not trying to lead you to the thing because we want your ideas and not our ideas. Maybe you can suggest to them, hey, I think you'd be great to be on the review committee, or I think you'd be great to submit an idea because you have something really cool that would be impactful in Pueblo. So that would be our only ask of you, for those of you who have attended, is that you tell somebody else about it and help spread the word, because we know that there are folks who maybe weren't able to attend a session in person or online, and there's still plenty of people who have really good ideas in Pueblo. Another question?
How do I get on the web, on the city's website to see the 2024 budget?
www.pueblo.us/budgetbook. /budgetbook. Yep. Yep, budgetbook. BUDGETBOOK. All one word. Okay. No. Had not been yet, but yes. Yeah. Was published yesterday, so. But yep, that's the website. Oh, Gary.
Hi, these are just questions that I heard reoccurring in the last 4 town halls that I didn't hear at this one, and I wanted to bring it up just in case y'all think about this later or it comes to mind. But the first one is, if I live, like, say, on the west side, can I only submit projects for the west side? What if I want to submit something for downtown?
The answer is yes. You can submit for any neighborhood.
Perfect. And the next one that I kept hearing was, how big can my project be? What if my project is like $50,000? Can I still submit that?
Yes, you can. And as Haley mentioned, even if it would be something that's larger than $1 million, we encourage you to submit those as well, because they might be looked at for future projects.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to wrap us up?
All right, I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. Again, I do have that one ask that maybe you take an extra flyer or at least you share your experience here at this town hall with somebody and let them know, hey, applications are opening for the review committee on November 1st, and then applications for the actual projects are going to be open December 1 through the end of January. And if you would share this with a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, a family member, we would appreciate it because we know that our community members, our citizens, have some of the best ideas that will be the most impactful in our city. So thank you so much for attending today, and we appreciate it.